Entitled mother breaks my 3080/computer because I won't give her kid my PC. So I've been playing on a 1650 Super for a while and wanted something better to bump my graphics up on Tarkov. And my cousin and his 31-year-old mom were over at my house visiting my parents. My GPU came in while they were there, so I rushed into the office to start putting it in my computer. My cousin comes in to watch me and talk, and about halfway through he asks why I have two of them, and I told him it's because I use two computers for my setup and streaming. He runs off and I get back to work. About 40 minutes later, after I get my 1080 in, swap my 1650 Super into the streaming PC, when his mom comes in and starts asking casual questions like what's up, how does this help, and basic stuff, I explain the process and how I use two computers to help deal with the strain of streaming, and that's when she asked me what would be a good computer for my cousin for his birthday. I told them I could help build a good PC for my cousin on a budget of around $800 to $1,100 for a decent starter, and she said the words that hurt me. Why don't you just give him one of your computers? You don't need to, and you haven't gotten him gifts for his birthday in a while. I told him I can't do that because my computers are worth over $3,000 with the upgrades and lights and I have in them, and she starts to say I'm ungrateful for what I have and that I needed to give my cousin my computer because they're family. I started to get heated because she started screaming about me about how all my life I've had things handed to me and never had to struggle for with what I have. I said that I work 2 full-time jobs to afford what I've got, and I've been working on the computers for over a year, and it's not my fault that you got pregnant at 18 with a deadbeat who left you. She then kicked my computer, shattering the glass and destroying the liquid cooling and 3080, and almost kicked the second computer but was promptly tackled. She started screaming that I assaulted her while I had my father escort them off the premises, which they are never allowed back on. Honestly, you gotta love it. Oh, you have 2 computers, so you might as well just give up one of them. You know, my kid deserves it by default. No, even though you explain why you need both of them, yeah, it doesn't matter. Unless the next thing you're about to say is yes to me asking them for you to give them to my kid, I don't want to hear it, alright? Proceeds to break the computer since she can't have it. Perfectly, calm, normal, perfect logic sense to me.
Don't know what I'm doing here. Don't know what I'm doing here. Don't know what I'm doing here.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and today I'm coming at you with another Entitled Parents video. I know I've done these a lot recently, but they seem to be doing really well and you guys seem to like them, so I figured what's the harm in doing another one? As you guys can tell, today we're going to be going over some fantastic stories, so sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and enjoy. Let's get into it and press the like button, otherwise no joke, no scam. Your parents are going to become this entitled. Hello, I'm in one of the many Midwest cities currently hit by snowpocalypse, and we ended up getting 14 inches of snow where I live. I want to preface this with saying that I don't necessarily like kids. I don't hate them, I just don't have any experience with kids and don't feel the need to produce any of my own. I work from home and received a knock at my door today, and there's a group of 4 12-year-old-ish boys outside, and they had shoveled my driveway and sidewalk and were now requesting payment and wanted $15 each. I was really confused because they never knocked and asked if they could shovel my driveway. They just did it without asking and were expecting to be paid. I was really dumbstruck and kind of said, I don't have any cash, and one of them pulled up a smartphone saying they had their mom's Venmo account. Again, me just being extremely confused, I started saying that I never agreed to pay them for anything and I was gonna shovel my driveway at lunchtime. If they had asked, I would have said no. They got really upset and were like, you're not gonna pay us for our work? But again, I didn't ask them to shovel my driveway, and they started yelling at me, so I shut my door. Fast forward a couple hours and their mom comes and knocks on the door, and I open it and she starts screaming at me for not paying the kids, and her points were that it was only $60, which wasn't gonna break me, which is wrong, and they put in the work and should be paid. Her boys did a nice thing for me, and she was proud of them for using their snow day to help people, and I was being ungrateful and gonna make them turn to drugs next time? This is when I started to get kind of mad. I said that I never asked for their services, and it was nice that they shoveled my driveway, but I never agreed to pay them, and they really should have asked first. She insists that I pay them this time, and they'll ask in the future, but I don't want to reinforce bad behavior just because they're children and people feel the need to let them get away with whatever. This is not just a cycle I want to perpetuate for the kids. You can't manipulate people into paying for something they've never asked for. I don't know. So far, I refuse to pay, and now I'm getting torched on Nextdoor for being a heartless monster who took advantage of children. I feel like this is just basically extortion. I don't know if that makes me heartless too, bro, but like, you can't just shovel somebody's driveway and then demand they pay you without asking first. I feel like permission is kind of important. Hey man, I went ahead and washed all the cars in your driveway. If you could go ahead and give me $50 a car now, I'd appreciate it. That's all fine and dandy, but if you didn't ask to wash the cars in the driveway, then I'm not necessarily sure if it's legal to charge somebody for it. I also love that they managed to pick the one person who like hates kids and doesn't mind looking heartless by not paying them. So I have extremely long hair. It reaches my knees when it's down, and I take good care of it and spend a lot of time, energy, and money keeping it healthy and in great condition. So obviously it's pretty important to me, and even without talking to me, it's obvious I'm protective of it. Usually when I leave home, I put it up in a bun or some other style, but today I thought it looked good and decided to leave it down. Me and my husband went to a local cafe for breakfast, and we were seated, and I saw across from us there was a mother and clearly a very excited young daughter. It's fine, obviously. They're just trying to enjoy their morning like I am, and I don't pay much attention until I hear the girl say to her mother, "Mom, that lady's hair is so long. Can I play with it?" I think this is a weird request, but I don't really expect anything else at this point. Until I hear the mother trying to get my attention. I turn to her and she asks me the title of the post, and I say, no, I'm not really comfortable with that. The girl immediately looks heartbroken, and her mom sighs and just looks tired and says, "Why not? It's just hair, let her play with it." I give her my reasons. I don't like people touching me, I don't let people touch my hair, there's still a pandemic, I'd rather not get close to strangers. Even my husband chimes in and says she doesn't even like me touching her hair, which is a lie. He's one of the few people that I'm very comfortable with touching my hair, and he just wanted to help me get out of the conversation because he's being sweet. The girl looks at her mother with a pleading look, but her mom just looks at her and says, "The mean lady won't help you," and stares me daggers. Like, what the heck, dude? What did I do? Would you let strangers touch your hair, lady? I get she's tired, but I'm not in the wrong for keeping my boundaries in order. A slight annoyance, but luckily they were already mostly through their meal by the time we arrived, so they weren't there long, but it was still a weird situation that made me overall uncomfortable. Dude, who just like walks around letting their kid ask to touch strangers? I feel like that's a horrible lesson to teach anyone. If you ever see something you want to touch on a stranger, just go up to them and ask. Like, who really wants to teach their kid that that's what they should be doing if they see a stranger walking around, dude? This is the most bizarre parenting I've ever heard of in my entire life. I was at a local game shop yesterday to sell a Magic the Gathering card. I had just finished talking with the owner to sell my card when this entitled mom walked up to this counter I was at with her son. "You should give that card to my son. You're too old to play with these." Ma'am, if you had approached me earlier, I would have traded or sold it to him, but I've already made a deal with the store. "No, you're an adult. Just give it to my son." At this point, I look at her young son, and he's young, and I should also mention the card I'm selling is a foil, Olivia Crimson Bride. For those of you that don't know, this card shows a lot of cleavage for a Magic card. "How old is your son?" "He's 10, and how old are you?" "I'm 21, and I also don't necessarily think this card is appropriate for his age." I show her the card, hoping to make my point. "No, it's fine, just give it to him." As I already said, I can't do that because I already committed to selling the shop my card. The owner cuts me off. "Man, if you want the card, you can buy it from us." "No, if my son can't have this card, then you can't have it." And at that point, she grabs it from my hand, and all I hear is rip. I look at the woman and the torn card in her hands, and I now start ripping into her, cussing her out. While I'm doing this, the store owner calls the cops, and they arrive 5 minutes later. The first thing they do is separate us before getting our statements, and the owner also decides to pull videos of the incident. After the police have talked with me and the owner, they start talking with her, and once they finish, they walk her out and send the officers over to talk to us. He tells us they're going to escort her from the premise, and they'll be trespassing her, and she'll no longer be allowed in the store. When the owner says that he would like to do that and that the woman has caused issues for him in the past, the cop also says that the woman has been giving it a ticket for destruction of private property and disturbing the peace. The owner of the store then tells me he will be going after the woman in court. He gave me money for the card so that way he can add it to the amount he's trying to go after her or claim it on insurance, and he told me he's going to try and sue her for harassment because she's done this in the past, and the value of the card she destroyed and any legal fees needed to take care of court will be included. This entire situation is absurd. Obviously, destruction of private property is destruction of private property, but imagine being the cop that has to like show up to the game store to deal with a Karen and some guy selling a Magic card, very angry, swearing at each other, screaming at each other the second you come in. Anyone's mad about getting their property destroyed, but like you would probably start looking around for the hidden camera if you were the person walking into this scene not expecting it to be reality. My parents are divorced and are in an unstable relationship. They can't buy a house on their own because they have no income, and they stopped working around a year ago and told me they don't want to work hard anymore because they worked hard to raise me and put me in college, and they have no retirement plan, so I guess I'm their ticket to retirement. Naturally, this means they expect me to contribute towards the mortgage each month, and I'm not planning on living with them at all. Never, in fact. For as long as I can help it, that house will not be my home because I cannot stand living with my parents. I feel very pressured and have been having breakdowns. I live far away from them, but every call and holiday I'm reminded of the expectations. I feel like all my efforts towards being independent are worthless. My parents haven't contributed a single dollar towards my expenses for the past 2 years. The only thing they paid for was the beginning of college was my phone bill, but that's since stopped too. I dread the future, I'm scared, and it seems too easy to just say cut my parents off. But the guilt of knowing I'm abandoning them, knowing they don't have financial security, and knowing they raised me and helped me to get to where I am eats me alive. But co-signing a house scares me. I need to live my own life too, and I have my own bills to pay. I don't mind giving them some money, but co-signing a house and providing $1K a month is too much. Every call we fight about this, and they say that I don't care about my parents' opinion of me, but the guilt of not supporting them destroys me, and the anxiety of having a grown child to take care of at 21 is super hard. Dude, this just sounds like an insane amount of pressure. Imagine being about to graduate college, not even out yet, and your parents are like, hey, you need to co-sign to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for us, otherwise we're not going to be able to retire. By the way, you should feel guilty because we did all of this for you, and if you don't, then you're betraying your parents and you have to live with that forever. Good luck! This literally sounds like the plot of a Disney Channel original movie, bro, but it's this dude's life. He's out here venting on Reddit. Whatever ended up happening, I hope you figured it out, dog, but I hope you don't end up having to co-sign for your parents' house. So this story happened when I was around 7 in a restaurant with my parents. I was playing in the restaurant playground when I heard a girl around my age ask me if I want to play hide and seek. I was on a swing and enjoying it, so I said no, and her mom appeared and she was pissed. How dare you not want to play with my kid? I don't want to play hide and seek. Well, they are bored and need someone to play with them, and then hit me. I said no. I looked at the girl and she was laughing like it was a part of the joke. She's a good girl and needs someone to play with. Then a waiter saw us. Why are you yelling at that child? He doesn't want to play with my kid. Well, he can choose for himself. At this point, I'm sobbing and the girl's just laughing, and the mom starts to say something about how she's a good girl, blah, blah, blah. And then my mom came. She asked me why I'm crying, and I said the woman hit me and yelled at me, and at this point in my life, anything could make me cry. She proceeded to talk to the manager, and he says that he's gonna ban the mom from entering the restaurant, and I never saw her again. I feel like if your child didn't suck and was actually pleasant to hang out with, you wouldn't need to be threatening kids on a fast food playground to get people to play with them. You know, maybe a little bit of self-awareness goes a little further than you would have expected. I mean, seriously, dude, how annoying does your kid have to be where everybody at the McDonald's playground is like, disgusting, I want nothing to do with playing hide and seek with you. The story is actually back from when my parents were together. I was maybe 7 or 8, my little sis was 5 or 6, and the story is about the time my sister and I had lice. There's really no other way to say this. My mom is lazy. She will do anything to not have to work. She had me cleaning the bathroom and doing laundry or cleaning up from the time I was 8. One thing she hated above all else was brushing our hair, or in this case, combing out the eggs. Her way to get around this was to shave both of our heads. She took us to the kitchen, sat us down, and shaved us to the scalp. It took 3 years for my sister's hair to grow back, and 2 for me to be back to where I was pre-haircut. Even after growing our hair back, we endured bullying and name-calling and teasing us from people saying we were boys. My aunts to this day have not forgiven her for that. They were angry on our behalf and have made it well known. But the one part that lets me look back at this and smile is that she did it against my dad's wishes. He was pissed because she went behind his back and told her in no uncertain terms that he wouldn't allow that. So he got revenge for us. He made her sit in the same chair and shaved her head too, and she never tried to do that again. Suddenly picking eggs out of her daughter's hair for a couple hours was not a big deal. I feel like lice is one of those things that everybody knows is mad contagious, so, you know, spending a bunch of time with kids who have lice and shaving their head is basically a guaranteed way when you get lice, which you probably will, to earn a one-way ticket to getting your head shaved too. I mean, honestly, there's gotta be a better way than shaving a head, right? You know, I guess it depends. If I shave my head, I wouldn't think it's a very big deal. But obviously, if you're in a situation where you shave a kid's head and it takes 3 years to grow back, you probably should not just be doing that all willy-nilly. I don't know where it belongs, but it's a story. I'm 15 now, but 14 when it happened. My mom works with a lot of single parents, and one day one of the mom asked if I'd be willing to babysit her 2 kids while she worked. I was homeschooled at the time, so I said, sure, whatever, some spending money, whatever. Here's the thing, I was there from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. and she gave me $40. That's $4 an hour for a 14-year-old babysitting 10 hours after dark. The kids weren't mean, but they fought constantly and didn't do anything their moms said. They would lie about what she said, use screens when they told me they weren't allowed to, and they didn't really listen. She only left enough food for me to make dinner for the 2 of them, so after leaving, the first thing I did was get dinner because I hadn't eaten at all. I also had to put both of them to bed and then sit there for an hour doing nothing because they went to bed at 8:30 and it only took about 30 minutes to clean up. I dealt with temper tantrum and screaming fights for 10 hours for $40, and she never gave more than a 24-hour notice. So yeah, I don't know if this belongs here, but looking back, it wasn't too great. This is just basically highway robbery, bro. She's like, hey man, I'm gonna leave enough dinner, not enough to feed you, but you're gonna watch the kids for 12 hours, okay? Okay, good luck. Seems like she thought because you were a kid, she could basically get away with ripping you off, dude. If I were you, I would not go back to doing all that work for $40. My goodness, dude, breaking up a fight, having a potential ankle bite situation like it's COD Zombies, no thank you. I needed to upgrade to a new laptop for university, and once I did not know what to do with my old broken laptop. It was in good condition, but long story short, my shelf fell on it in the middle of the night, breaking and shattering the screen. I planned on fixing it and selling it since it's a fairly good laptop that would work for daily tasks. Cut to a family meeting where I mentioned I wanted to sell my laptop, and my entitled aunt said, if you're selling it, why don't you give it to my kid instead? I don't know, would you be willing to pay for it? I'll give you a family discount as well since it's for your kid. Didn't you say the screen was broken? I'm not gonna buy something broken for my kid. Alright, well what about you pay for the cost of fixing it and then you can keep it? I thought that was a great idea, and heck, it's for my cousin. I didn't really want the profit off my family, and I know my cousin will enjoy using it for years. My entitled aunt agreed, and so I went to get it fixed. The biggest mistake here was using my own money to get it fixed. My aunt agreed to give me the cost after everything was fixed and back to new. Fast forward a few weeks, it's before the new school year, and I fixed the laptop, put it back in the original box packed with the charger and documents, formatted it, and it looked new and ready for a new user. I go to the entitled aunt's, but I left the laptop in the car. I told her to pay me back roughly around $300 for the screen replacement, and she refused. You said you'd give it to me for free. What? I never said that. I told you I'd give it to you if you paid for the screen replacement. I repaid everything else for you. Yeah, but we're family. It's horrible to ask me for money. It's for your cousin. Plus, it has ugly stickers on them. It's ugly. My cousin liked the stickers I had on them and asked me to keep it on. Well, then I guess you're not gonna get it. I'm sorry. She got really mad, and I'm glad I left the laptop in the car because she probably would have grabbed it from me and kicked me out of her house. I also feel bad for her kid because they really needed the computer. But after paying for the repair cost out of my own pocket, I didn't want to give it away for them for free. I'd rather sell it and make it a bit extra back plus the repair cost. The money will go to my university funding and for any necessities I might need. I feel rude, but I think it's for the best. I sold the laptop a few months later, and once the entitled aunt knew this, she got super mad and told other relatives I robbed them from having a computer for their kid to use for school. I hate being related to this woman. Alright, so let me get this straight. We're making a deal right now that I'll fix it and you'll pay for the parts and repair, right? Deal. Deal. Okay, can you pay me for the repairs? Oh my god, what's wrong with you, you greedy person? How dare you want me to pay for the repairs? What made you think I was gonna do that, dude? There was nothing that I ever implied that made you think that I was gonna pay for the repairs, you stupid idiot. Never thought I'd meet a Karen in my country, but this happened some months ago. There's a basketball court in the neighborhood, and it's one of the few public ones in the city. And even though it's not that busy, as basketball's not very popular here, we have some regular players. Today there were 15 of us, enough for 3 teams taking turns full court, and everyone had masks. The public park also had a playground with swings on the side of the court with a small wall dividing the spaces. While we were playing, a kid who's 5 or 6, let's call him Kevin, starts riding a scooter in the middle of the court. We kindly ask him to stop because it could be dangerous for him, and his dad, that we'll call Bob, was sitting on the side watching this, so we decided to talk to him. Hey, can you please get your kid out of the court? It can be dangerous for him and we may run him over. This is a public court. He can ride anywhere he wants. Yeah, but it's a basketball court and we're playing here. You can take him to the playground over there. Well, he wants to ride here. Okay, but it's not our responsibility if something happens. We continue playing and the inevitable happens, and one of the players runs over the kid. He didn't see him as he's running, looking to the side, and the kid was small. See, this was bound to happen. Take your kid off the court. We don't want him to get hurt, or us. How dare you do this? This is a public place. He then stands up and goes with his kid to the playground, and we continued playing as if nothing has happened. I saw him on the phone and said, no way, he's calling the cops. And a couple minutes later, a couple of patrol cars arrived. They talked to Bob and then gathered all the players. Hey guys, that gentleman called us over saying you kicked his kid out of the court and threatened them. That never happened. Awesome Grandpa intervenes. He's 62 years old and one of the regular players, and he goes toe-to-toe with the 20-year-old. He's incredible. Listen, officer, I'm by far the oldest here, and not only do I have children, but grandchildren as well. I know what it's like to raise them and protect them, and that guy's doing neither. We asked him to remove his kid from the court as it could be dangerous for him and us. We understand if he's riding outside the court, but he's doing it in the middle of the court. Okay, thanks for the clarification. I'm gonna go talk to him. We continued while the officer is talking to Bob, and the kid, as entitled as he is, started riding his scooter through the court again, so we yelled, "Hey officer," and pointed at the kid. Bob ends up shouting, "Kevin, get back here." The officers left soon after without incident, and we continued playing as we thought the matter was resolved. But boy oh boy were we wrong. 30 minutes later, a mighty Karen storms the court and interrupts the game as she yells, "How much longer are you gonna hold the court? I see you playing here every day and you never let anyone else use it, and furthermore, you dare hit my kid?" Please note that our city has been under mandatory quarantine since June, but sports facilities have been closed since March. The quarantine was lifted 3 weeks before all this happened, and of course everyone's eager to play again. One of the regulars answered, "First of all, lady, put your mask on, and second of all, lower your tone. Even though it's a public place, it's a basketball court, and you're endangering your son if he gets hurt, and it's not our fault. You were the one that hit my kid, and how dare you? He's just a child trying to have fun. Ma'am, he can go to the playground that's right there. Oh, and who are you to tell me what I can and can't do? Well, then why don't you just go yourself?" And she goes off. "How dare you tell me that? You don't have the right to say that. You're probably a loser without kids that only knows how to play basketball and has no life." Enjoy every one of the 15 players face palming. Lady, just go. She goes to the playground and starts filming us, probably to shut us on social media. Anyways, we played a little more and we leave, and as I'm leaving, I say as over politely and courteous as I could, "Farewell, madam, please have a lovely evening." And she just gave me a death glare, but who cares? The nerve of some people. This is like when a soccer mom just drops off a kid with a Razor scooter in the skate park and is like, "Go have fun," and he inevitably gets accidentally hit by a skater because he just doesn't know how to go down the ramp and like check to see if anyone else is coming. The mom gets mad and you're like, "Listen, lady, there's really not much I can do about the fact that you didn't think this through, okay? There's only so much I can do here. Whether you're Bob or Karen, protect your kid." Anyways, guys, I think that's gonna do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did enjoy it, I'd appreciate you taking a second to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. And of course, subscribe if you're new and turn on those notifications. If you want more Entitled Parents videos, let me know with a comment down below if I should do more of them. You guys seem to enjoy it, so I'm hoping there's some comments. The intro song is a intro song from my friend PANCHO. I'll put a link to it in the description. Feel free to go check it out. Beyond that, I'll put a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, down below, along with a link to my merch. Or, of course, you could use code Scrubby at the G Fuel checkout. Great way to get a discount on G Fuel. Help me out at the same time. But on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.
Get it jumping, I'm just trying to get some hands up.